Welcome everybody, my name is Mr. Llama and welcome back to Winning in 40 APM or Less. Today we are going to be exploring the Zergling Baneling 2-base slightly economic bust. So it will be hitting a little bit later than usual because my opponent was going for a slightly later gas to kind of trick me. Which actually almost kind of fooled me, except for what you'll kind of see in the game. I'll kind of explain it as we do go through. But yes, this is going to be the bust, and I just want to kind of give a big shout out first off to everybody that has helped me out. So Frosty Chobo, and basically everybody that's kind of played against me in all these games and gone through the builds that I've told them to go through for the sake of this series. That's been very, very kind and generous of them. So thank you very much to all of the people that have played, and thank you to all of the viewers as well who have watched and learned and hopefully been able to learn something, but as well as given feedback. People who have said, hey, I have trouble with the bust in ZVT when I go for this build. So I am going to be opening up with the 1-Rex expand into 2 additional barracks. And this is just going to be basically like the Filter SC build, which is pretty much kind of what the players or the person who asked about this said. So he was like, hey, I'm doing Filter's build opening, and I'm having some problems with it, blah blah blah, whenever I get this sort of bust going on. So hopefully this right here can be a show for you. And he did offer up some replays as well. So I'm going to say it was so beneficial to have those replays. If you are going to be submitting a video to me, please do please give me those replays, because it was so helpful for me to be able to go in and look and say, oh, okay, here's what he's doing, here's what he's scouting, here's what he's building, and what times. How can I make this? How can I improve this? Because a lot of times people say, oh, I do a 1-gate FE. How do I stop mass battle cruisers? And it's like, well, I need a little bit more information beyond 1 gate. There's something that happens between the time that you build your 1 gate and the time that mass battle cruisers do appear. Is he on 5 bases? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of things that factor into it. So replays are very beneficial. So I'm going to go ahead and just send out my scouting SCV, and as you can see, we are not taking up a lot of APM. Okay, I got lucky and I guessed him on the first slot, so I'm going to go ahead and check in here with this SCV, just kind of look around, see what's up. I don't see any dudes mining gas over here, and I don't see a geyser right there, or a extractor right there. I'm going to go back in and check fairly soon, because that's what I kind of want to check for when I am doing a TvZ opener. I want to look to see, does he have gas? If he doesn't have gas, he may be going for that sort of 4-queen, 6-queen opening, and so I'm going to go over here and kind of check to see if he gets a 3rd, and I'll send a scout back in later. So I have opened up with my command center right here. I'm just pumping out these Marines, and I'm going to be throwing down a bunker and a couple of barracks here fairly soon. So I do go for the barracks first, and then I'm going to throw down the bunker. That's because I don't feel like there's any crazy 1-base thing. I did scout him first. So if I didn't scout him first and I had yet to scout him, I may be throwing that bunker down before I throw down those 2 racks right there. So I'm adding on my 2 additional racks, and I'll be adding on refineries here very, very shortly as well. Right behind this, and there we go. There go down the refineries. And so it's pretty much just the basic opener right here. I see he tries to scout in with this Ling, so I'll send a couple Marines probably over there to kill that off. I guess I missed that, so unfortunately I missed that Ling, and he's going to sneak around here and kill this SCV, unfortunately for me. But I do get the finish on the building, so that's what matters, because otherwise I would have to grab another SCV, send him all the way down, and that could be annoying. So here we are going to see barracks finish, and what I personally like to do, and this is because I have scouted that he's not gone for this fast 3rd base. A lot of times you'll see the Zerg player take a 3rd base by now. So players, like in Filtered SC's videos, things like that, they'll drop a reactor, and then they'll drop 2 tech labs right now, and that's just a lot of production time that's spent not building Marines, right? So I don't feel very safe doing that. I like to be able to have those barracks right there continually pumping out those Marines, and then later on I can drop down the reactors and tech labs if necessary if I see that 3rd base. So I don't see that 3rd base going up. He's at 50 supply. So I'm like, alright, I'm going to send my SCV to scout in around 6:30. You either scout or you scan. And if you note on my command centers, I did have energy saved up for a scan because 6:30 you'll have energy for that scan, so you can scan what's going on. Oh hey, I see a Baneling nest. If that SCV would have died right here, I would have dropped a scan on this main to see, is he mining gas, number one. Number two, is there a lair or a Baneling nest? If he's mining gas and there's a lair, okay, he may be going for 2-base muta, something like that. If there's no lair and he's mining gas, even if I don't see the Baneling nest there, it could be somewhere like back here. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some cheese. So what do? I lift off my barracks right here. I was getting stim on that barracks, and I'll actually rewind just a tiny bit, and then I'll fast forward through it. So I go in, I scout with that SCV, right, and I take them all. I forget stim. I don't even care at this point because I see Banelings right there, and no lair whatsoever, and it's 7 minutes into the game, and there's not a third either. So he's definitely going to be going for some sort of cheese right here. You can almost guarantee it at this point. It's not a complete guarantee, but even then, if I do this, I'm not in a terrible position. I'm still getting great production, minus the minor supply block. So I actually used a drop down right there, and it's not a terrible thing to use. If you are in a situation like that, you shouldn't even be supply blocking in the first place. You should just be continuing to build up your supply depots, of course, but if for some reason your macro slips like it did right there for me, go ahead and drop that down and then start building your supply depots. And as you can see, I got myself back under control, and now I'm just preparing for a Baneling bust. And you know what? If it doesn't come, I sack all of these bunkers, and what have I done? I've simply spent 100 minerals when I salvage all of those. So I spend 100 minerals right here to stay completely safe. And then in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start adding my starport. I added a factory onto that tech lab so I can start getting out siege tech as well. Add my engineering base to get upgrades. And now I'm just kind of advancing into the later game while still remaining to be safe just in case something does happen. Notice how I spread out my bunkers right here, and I use my barracks to wall in. That's so important because look at all those Banelings. If I did not have barracks for the wall in right there, I would have completely died to that. So he's going to be able to do a decent amount of damage, but of course he had to spend everything just to get Banelings to break through that barrier right there. So now one of the fastest and or most important things you can do right now is rebuild your wall. You want to have this wall rebuilt as fast as you can because he's going to be trying to stream in Lings and Banelings pretty quickly right thereafter. And you'll probably see him push up with some Lings. Yep, so here we go. So he's going to be coming in with another force right here. And you'd think, oh crap, this might not be enough. But no, I'll actually be fine because I have everything kind of split out right here. And I'm not even using much APM. I'm not trying to marine split anything. A lot of that's just preset APM from my split. Look, I just move a few marines away, okay. So it just takes a little bit less damage, but he is basically committing everything that he has to this right here. He's not going to be in a very good situation. Here you see Lings starting to poke up, so I just move my marines forward to back his Lings off of this wall right here. And now I can once again rebuild my bunkers, and this puts me in such a great position. Also, in the meantime, I'm teching up really well. I now have my medevacs out on the way. I can get +1/+1 when I feel like starting it. I selected it, but I wasn't quite in the mood to start it yet, I think, because I was still a little bit worried about his Baneling bust. And now I can set up some siege tanks right here, so if he tries to once again commit to that, as you can see, my siege tanks will just blow that up, and that's going to be it. So it's just a very simple GG right there, and he's going to just be heading out of the game, and that right there is a pretty solid defense against this. And you know what, even if you bust that down again, I've got these bunkers to back all my marines up into, and that's really the important thing. And I think what a lot of Terran players do not do is they don't throw up those bunkers in the back. So they'll go ahead and have some marines kind of split out here, and they'll be like, oh, I'm fine, and then they have their barracks wall even sometimes, and that'll get blown up, and then all those Banelings will roll through, and they won't have bunkers, and it will just completely obliterate all of their forces down there on the low ground. And so if that happens, you'll have to lift this off, wall off up here, and then start resorting to one base play. And it's just a lot worse situation. It's a lot closer of a game, whereas this was pretty easy. He's committed to all of this right here. So he's really not going to be able to do too much beyond this. This is all of his tech. This is his basically his like money winner. So even though he has like similar supply that's just, you know, sitting in Lings and Banelings, that's not going to do anything. My tanks are easily going to be able to just blast that out. I've got medevacs already on the way. I've got my upgrades started, and I'm just so far ahead in this game because he's still on 2 bases, I'd imagine. Yep. So as you can see, he's still on 2 bases. So that pretty much puts me in a win situation. He knows that, so he GG's out of the game. So that's going to be it for the TvZ a Baneling bust right there, and that, like I said, is a little bit later, but I still would have been fine if he came at that like 7:30, 8-minute mark, because I did go in with that scout at 6:30. I saw that. So if I came in, I saw the Baneling I started down, I could drop that wall, and my wall was definitely up in time, and he would not have had enough Banelings had he gone for an earlier bust to break down the barracks wall and continue on. Instead, he would have probably just stopped right here, maybe broken down one barracks, and then I'd have my bunkers up still as well. So I would have been fine in either situation. My name is Mr. Llama. I hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys next time.